That's so horrible. Why do you have to wait till the last moment to do that? Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Joel with another Mix It Up podcast episode. As always, I'm with my friend
H. Jones right over here.
Wow, super depressing that guy is. Okay, so today we're both in marketing, so we've dealt with it on a multitude of different levels, being the consumer, producer of promotional materials and stuff like that, campaigns, things like that. So what we have all noticed, and what you guys have noticed too, don't act like you haven't seen it. When I start talking about it, you'll be like, yeah, I've seen that quite a bit. So we're going to eventually talk about some good examples of people that do really good marketing and such, but we're going to talk about the bad examples first. Now, I'm not going to mention who these people are for the specific reason of I'm not going to mention the worst of the worst because it actually does help them. So I'm not going to mention their names or anything. Like, you'll know who I'm talking about in part, or at least know someone who does that. So don't comment with it. Please don't comment with the name or connection or anything because it helps them. That's the whole point of this. So, okay, bad marketing, which is actually very successful because the whole point of like all of these platforms, the internet, Google, Bing, Yahoo Finance, social media sites like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all this stuff. The sole purpose is to keep you on it as much as possible. And the algorithms will throw crap in ton of your face that gets the most popularity. And when it comes to the bad forms of marketing, there's a reason they use it, because that bad form of marketing creates a crap ton of engagement, especially when it comes to social media, you know, like for instance, there's hot take marketing, where you basically take something that's universally loved and you just shit on it. Like in some way, or say something like, well, I don't know why people like this. I just think it's crap. And like, when you do that, immediately you're going to have people that are like, I agree with you. Yes, they suck. And then you're going to have a group of people who are like, no, actually there. And when you, funny enough, a lot of those comments start with actually, for real, actually, a lot of that starts that way.
First off,
actually, but, and then you defend whatever you love, right? And you like run them over the coals or troll them or treat them like crap or whatever else it means. But, my nose is itching like crazy. But here's the thing. You have just helped them push their stuff further, because the minute you start commenting and reacting like nuts, sorry, my nose is itches, drives me crazy. Whenever you start reacting and commenting and it gets crazy, and like, even sometimes people will be like cancel culture or something, you know, but not on this aspect. Hot take, not as much. But that's the purpose. You engage on the platform, on their post, and it's going to push that engagement. Is going to push that post further out in front of more people, because the algorithm is going to look at it and be like, oh, people are really excited and really talking about this. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't. That's why they removed a lot of dislike button options from a lot of platforms. What?
Didn't we have a dislike when it first came out?
No, dislike buttons have been gone for a long time.
I'm talking about when it was the Facebook, way back when. I want to say when it first came out.
Yeah, well, they got rid of the dislike button because it was actually affecting the algorithm in a positive way, which is dumb. But they're trying to get people on to stay on it, to engage with it, blah, blah, blah. So the best thing you can do is like snooze them or ignore it, because that's the only thing you can do. But no one's going to do that. Most people, even if they knew what I'm talking about right now and they know it for sure, that's how it works, they would still be like, well, I got to say something. Yeah. And they're going to put something on there. And
He's then a jerk. I got to say something.
And I got to prove him wrong. Well, guess what? He's just saying that because it's going to get controversial reaction. It's going to push him further. It's going to make his content hit harder. That's why they do it. Another one, which I didn't think existed until I saw it from my own eyes. Dumb take marketing. Holy crap. It's very sneaky, successful. This guy, I saw a video where he was like, I don't know if people cut their grass, you know? I mean, you're cutting your grass, it goes in your driveway, and you just blow it back into the grass, like into your yard. Why cut it to begin with? Why not just let it grow? Yeah, he did that on purpose because then you had like every person who's ever landscaped their yard ever or worked for a company that did that go, dead grass becomes decay and then eventually feeds like fertilizer, the grass that is, blah, blah, blah. It aerates the grass or it makes your yard look nice and uniformic or whatever it may be. And they were just chewing this dude out. Thousands of comments. And then his next video was something just as dumb. It was like, I don't know why people eat mustard. It makes no sense. Like, it's just yellow snot. Like, he was just saying dumb stuff. And it was to get people to react to it. And it broadened him. Now, I called that stuff like the reality TV of internet posts because it really has no freaking purpose whatsoever. It has no purpose. It's not content. It's not interesting. And people might call it satire or parody. And I hate people who call it satire or parody. It's not that. It's just someone who knows that this will effectively make enough people angry that it'll push his channel further. Yeah. It's embarrassing, but it freaking works. And then, of course, there's hate marketing, which is ostensibly that's less. Well, it's still social media, but it's more also the internet, writing blogs, putting up vlogs and videos and all kinds of stuff. And the sole purpose is like a snake oil salesman. You know, it's someone who takes something and creates it into a controversial topic. Or it's someone who does, like, there's a guy, not going to mention who he is. He's going through some trouble right now. You probably know who I'm talking about.
But, I think I already know.
Yeah. So this guy basically would say intelligent stuff about, like, you know, self-reliance and things like that, individuality, stuff like that. And then he would say intelligent stuff, and then he would backdoor it with some of the most ignorant, evil crap. Just so disconnected from reality, that type of stuff, usually against what he would call the weaker sex, you know? And this is how he did it. And he grew so quickly, so fast because one, he convinced misogynistic pieces of shit to back him, which is one thing. And he may have convinced people who were intelligent human beings who then were listening to his smart shit and going, yeah, yeah. And then he says the dumb shit and they're like, well, he's a smart guy. Yeah. Maybe he's right on that fact, which, by the way, if you're that, you're fucking butter because you're obviously so malleable. It's too easy for him to do it. It's kind of pathetic, really. But yeah, so he may have done a perspective shift and changed people to think like this. And then you have the vast amount of people who disagree with him and on every single post and video will just try and trash and threat him. Right. And you just pushed him further. All of you did. If people, the minute he said something dumb, if people would have just ignored him and shoved him out, going, whatever, dude, and like snoozed him or whatever, and didn't even mention his name, that dude would have never gained the popularity he would have. He wouldn't have gained it. He wouldn't have gained it. But it's because of that controversialness.
It stirs up emotions.
It stirs up emotions, but you got to understand it is a persona. It is a sole purpose of making money. That's all it is. That's all it is.
It's like when reality TV first came out. When it first came out.
No, like first, like MTV Real World.
Yeah, when everybody thought it was real. And then after a while, you're like, wait a second.
Did they really think it was real, though?
When it first came out?
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, all my friends thought it was fake as hell. Like maybe real moments, but scripted purposely, you know?
I think once they start making more seasons and then you had, I guess when Big Brother, I think it was.
Maybe the first season was they just got a bunch of crazy people and put them together, you know?
Yeah.
And then after that, it was a little harder to find people who have like sociopathic tendencies and whatnot.
Yeah. When it first came out, like, oh, wow, this is crazy. And after a while, you're like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
He wrote this.
Someone I don't know if you know her, but she was on Real World. And when she came back, because she was gone for like 4 or 5 months. And when she came back, she was like, yeah, well, you know, I I can't really talk about it, but yeah, it's definitely scripted quite a bit. Like people posing things or editing the video. She goes, when I watched the show, I was like, yeah, that didn't happen in the same sequence. That happened 3 days later, or that happened 2 days before, or whatever else, you know? So yeah, it was or that's taken out of context and edited in to look like a response to something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I always figured that. So I'm glad I was right. And she was like, yeah, it was very weird watching that because I was like, man, I feel dirty. I mean, she had a fun time. She just said, yeah, you could tell that they play with things and push things and do this and that.
Yeah.
But that's the way it's always been. Like, I didn't even know that Survivor's still going on. I had no clue. I just saw an ad for it. Has that been going on this whole time?
Yep.
Like, it's never stopped.
Nope. They still surviving. I'm a survivor.
I mean, that show's got to be like just scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point. Okay, we're all going to try to survive in Chicago, 1985. Like, we're going to be in the meth district. Let's hope we can stand. Or crack district. Let's hope we can stand to survive the night. Good luck, guys. Tommy stole my piece of bread. Well, he ripped my toenail off while I was sleeping. Yeah, like, yeah, they're going to get pretty desperate on that show, I think, but maybe not. Whatever. So the next form of marketing that I wanted to talk about, bad marketing, was fear marketing, which we've all seen this since the dawn of time. Because especially when it comes to like news broadcasts, like even the local news has been doing this for decades, where it's like, do you know what products in your home are killing you? Film at 11. And you're like, it's 3 p.m. What's going to kill me before then? Like, can you tell me now what's going to kill me? Why are you waiting to tell me something such importance?
Hope you're around to see us at 11.
There's a bomb coming. Film at 11. Yeah. Well, a bomb? Where? Here? My house? Like my backyard? Is it in my toilet? Is it in like water facilities? Give me details, dicks. Like, yeah. Like, it's just, it's super dumb. But then you look at like national news networks that run 24/7 and it's like cute puppies, funny squirrels that are surfing. And then it's like death, mayhem, mayhem, mayhem. We might die, death, cute puppies. Like, it's ridiculous. Political grandstanding and then divide. Like, fear marketing is politic 101.
Yeah.
But it's also product 101. Snake oil salesman. If you have a problem with being bald, you can use this miracle elixir. It will fix all your problems. You'll even no longer have herpes. Like, it's just, it's all lies. It's all lies. Now we get to talk about the good stuff. Good forms of marketing. Now, prime example would be BTS. And the reason I bring them up is, one, they're such a huge global hit. I mean, we just watched the whole thing about them, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, we watched several things about them, but still, what's genius though is like we saw in the first breakdown of BTS 7, and then we watched the Life a Beautiful Moment.
Beautiful Life in a Moment.
Is that it?
I think so.
Man, my memory sucks, and now yours is going.
Or Beautiful Moment in Life.
Life, something, whatever.
Beautiful Moment.
Anyways, we already did it. It was Rice Squad that did it. So, like after watching that, you kind of see those parts where it's like, you know, talk shows, TV shows, game shows, whatever else. We're kind of making fun of BTS, calling them women, doing stuff like that, acting like they weren't that big of a deal, which kind of happens because let's be honest, when it comes to human beings, when someone's like, oh, they're the best, greatest of all time, most people are going to be like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Art is subjective to the person. Greatest of all time can mean a million different artists, million different things, million different movie characters, whatever it may be. Right. But when it comes to like what they do is they don't just create music. They started the social media presence so they'd actually talk directly to their fan base. That's genius marketing because engagement is one of the number one things you can do.
Yeah.
Engagement, having a conversation, discussing topics, showing off pieces of music, things like that. Great marketing tactics. Gives people a better, deeper understanding of you. Gives you a connection to them. You know, it's stuff like we do the best we can do. We only release 3 videos a week. So it's eventually we'll get laptop OBS software and all that so we can actually talk to you guys live because I'd be interested in what you're saying. But we'd have to figure out a great time because there's so many of you in so many different countries. Yeah. I don't know what time we could actually have that you would all be able to come on, or at least even a 10th of you would be able to. So we'll have to figure out what time locally here we can do it. It's probably like 3 a.m. But
so
yeah.
sleepy.
So I mean, they have the genius marketing when it comes to social media, but then they started actually like creating their own shows, like game shows. They play games. It was almost like watching a more fun Big Brother. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Big Brother is just a dark, sad sack of a show. But it was like having a reality TV show with people who weren't assholes to each other. Yeah. And so it was more interesting, and they played games, and they, talk mess and joke around and rib each other and everything. And it was more interesting because they were showing a more personal side of themselves, which is very unique and very genuine and very honest. This is marketing 101. Most people are going to go for that darker side of marketing because it's easier to do and it's easier to catch fire. But when it comes to good sides of marketing, you're building a more genuine fan base. You're building more genuine connection, and that will stand the test of time and last the longest. But no one wants to do that because it takes a lot of work to do it. Yep. It's easier to be mean. It's way harder to be nice. That's why I always laugh when people are like, yeah, you got to be tough, blah, blah. I'm like, Believe me, it takes a lot of guts to not want to smack you in the face. I wasn't looking at H. I was looking at lights behind him, just like the person I'm talking to. It wasn't H. I would never smack you. I like you. You're a cool person. That was super awkward. Okay.
Yeah, that face made it seem like it's a little different.
It's a very cheese face. Yeah, I'm sorry. But like with their marketing tactics, didn't just stop it there. Like we saw on the video that they had a mobile app, which was insane. And it had like actual songs and bits and pieces, which, by the way, how much music have they created that they have album after album after album, sometimes releasing 2 albums in a year, then have new singles on an album in a different language re-recorded, then put singles on their mobile app on showcase and shows. I mean, they must have like a whole entire pool of like 5,000 songs they've written, and they're just one at a time. Like, we worked really hard the first 5 years. We're just using everything we have now. Like, it's just so much work, man. And doing the showcases and touring and everything else. Well, okay. So the touring thing, that was also good marketing. Most musicians do that, but see, BTS goes above and beyond. They do the meet and greets. I'm going to tell you right now that there's not a lot of meet and greets when it comes to people in the music industry. Yeah. Because it can be a very dangerous or volatile situation. Now, don't get me wrong. They've had parts in their existence where they've had to deal with really dangerous situations. But as we had a conversation after the last episode, I had a conversation with Army in the comments where basically they were like, look, like from what I've noticed is like 80% fun-loving, great bunch of people. 10% obsessives that are crazy and think they own BTS. And then another 10% that just misunderstand everything, get butthurt, and then kind of act like children in a way where they're like, no, you fat ass, you're the fat ass. Like that type of comments where we got a bunch of messages and they were like, the fat one doesn't know what he's talking about, which actually made me laugh pretty hard when I read it. But yeah. And no one's perfect. No one's going to know everything. And in your brain, you might think of something a certain way. There's no possibility that anyone's going to know exactly what you're thinking. And when you do find someone who knows what you're thinking, you're going to be like, oh my God, they know exactly what was real. No, they just followed the same trail you did. It doesn't mean they have some connection to you. It just means they followed the trail. And some of us don't follow trails very well. So that's why we don't really think like most of you do. It's okay, though. No, most of Army is awesome. So I'm cool with that. But which then, again, is my next point, is that BTS had this fandom they created. Well, not really created. They were there. They created the genuine connection. The fans created the fandom, which then became like a sword for justice when it came to them. And then also doing marketing themselves, like promoting it on their own social media channels, creating their own websites and helping push BTS further, discussing a whole bunch of other stuff, interpreting what they feel behind the albums, behind the music. Like, so it was a whole inflection of marketing tactics that started out with just a genuine premise of connection. And that's some of the best marketing you can do. It's some of the greatest marketing you can do because it creates an actual connection. Yeah. Connection's the whole point. Like if you have a conversation on a social media post and it's positive and you're supporting each other and you care generally about how each other feels, and it even gets to the point where if someone does try to come in and ruin it like a douchebag, you're not going to be like super hyper defensive and try to cut their legs out from underneath, but you're going to be like, hey man, I hope you have a better day. Because they're probably having a really shitty day and they just want to burn something down, you know, ruin someone's parade or whatever. I've never been that type of personality just because I would feel immediately horrible if I ever did that. And I've done it a couple times in my life where someone made a comment. It wasn't really that mean, but it kind of irked me for half a second. And then I just cut their throat and said really messed up stuff that they're really insecure about. And then just been like, yeah. And then went back to my day and realized I just cut that person down immediately. I felt horrible. Feels horrible. People who don't feel horrible, you need to look inside yourself because there may be something severely broken. You should feel bad if you cut someone down completely. Anyways, but that's like a great form of marketing is built up. Like what good form of marketing have you come across in your life? Like when it comes to business or music or what?
For me, it's been the face-to-face.
Genuine connection.
I have to basically go to a lot of meetings, meet people, and let them see me over and over, and then just kind of implant myself in their head. So then they're like, wait a second. Okay, so I saw
that
him
sounds
there.
more like manipulation.
No. Because like if I send somebody a message online, say like a candidate, and I'm trying to get their business to do designs, if I'm an unknown person, people, first thing you're going to do is think is this a scam?
Yeah.
Right. But then it's like, all right, I sent you a message. Maybe this is a scam. I got an email as well. It could still be a scam. And I got a postcard handwritten.
Yeah. Maybe it's someone who's trying to take advantage of you and it's not a scam. They're just trying to take advantage of you. So then they think that way.
Yeah. But then when I go to an event and they see me, then they're like, okay, this is a real person.
Yeah.
He's talking to that person. I know that person.
Yeah.
He's got a picture with that person. Okay, maybe this is not a scam.
Yeah.
You know, and then I always bring some
genuine connection
designs and stuff and like samples of what I brought. And they're like, oh, okay.
So you're a real
so that
deal.
Actually looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's printed. Okay, cool. But
so a physical connection to solidify a previous connection.
Right.
In case they have any worries, you dispel the worries.
Because the guy we worked with in Chicago, I was completely shocked that I sent him a Facebook message and he just sent money and we started designing. I was like, cool, awesome.
That does not happen all the time.
It does not at all.
No.
Right. Yeah. Like the few clients that I've had that are out of state, every one of them has just shocked me immediately. Cause then there's people that are down the street like, I don't know. And then there's other people that are states away with no mutual friends or nothing.
Oh, no mutual friends? Really?
Out of state?
And they just went on it real quick?
I mean, because they'll go to the website and be like, all right, I like what I see. And
because you're out of state, of course, there's no way they can actually physically meet you.
Right. Yeah. But if they don't, and we're like, I don't even do like video calls with folks. So it's not like they could even see a face to make sure this is a person, not a bot.
Do you know how many people have thought I was black? It's so many times. I can't even count how many times. Like D Nix thought I was black. Mm-hmm. That was the funniest conversation I ever had. Was he was like, "Hey Joel, I'm talking to him and everything," and I don't know how it got brought up, and he was like, "Are you white?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Wow, I did not know that." I was like, "What'd you think it was? Do I talk different? I mean, did you think I was from a different country or something?" He was like, "Nah, I just didn't see that." I was like, "Wow, okay. Is it the deep voice?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's deep voice." And I was like, "Yeah, that would be it." Like people that see me too, like, because the way I talk right now, the way I talk is more like my business voice that I use. I don't really go too deep on that. So when I talk like this, it's my business voice. Most people tend to see me like either if I'm more relaxed in the conversation, then they may think I might be a different persuasion than just a giant white Ninja Turtle. But doesn't help I'm wearing a giant white hoodie too. Ninja Turtle on Ninja Turtle.
I told you earlier to change, remember?
Yeah, I know, but I like this hoodie. It's super comfortable. So then it was what was it? Oh man, it's either that or they think I'm some like small little nerdy guy or something like that because I talk about tech or video games or something. One guy walked into his own business and I went there to meet him to discuss a bunch of projects we were doing. And like, I'm sitting at the bar and he calls my phone to find out where I'm at because I texted him, hey, I'm here. And he's like, okay. And he calls me and then I pick up the phone. He's like, dude, because I was right in front of him. And he was just like, dude, how tall are you? You're huge, man. I was like, yeah, I'm 6'3" and, you know, I weigh like 250 pounds. And he was like, I did not match that with your voice, man. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. Like he was a shorter guy. So I guess it just scared the crap out of him. This giant mongoloid orangutan looked like a ninja turtle, a white ninja turtle sitting in his bar. He's like, but yeah, I either get that or I get the other thing. Like I'm just from a different area of town or like Florida. Some people say sound like a Florida rapper they knew. I went, I don't rap. I'm not good at it. I'm just not good at it. It sounds bad. I sound corny and aggressive at the same time. It's very weird. Like corny and aggressive. Like gangsta rap if Weird Al Yankovic did it. Which I think he did, didn't he? No, he did parody version of like Gangsta's Paradise or whatever. That was a good song back in the day. Anyways. So yeah, there's like good forms of marketing typically are a genuine conversation, a genuine connection, a physical connection, or it might be something that tugs at the heartstrings, something that promotes a perspective shift, like again, that form of hot take marketing and stuff like that, or hateful marketing. Some people might use that as a way to get in the door. Like, hey, this is an intelligent highlight that I'm showing on TikTok. And you watch the full video and he backdoors it with, but I treat my women like they're my objects, you know, and it's like, now that makes me feel uncomfortable, but some people might be convinced, well, he is an intelligent guy. So maybe there's something to this misogyny. And I'm like, ah. But it's based on that genuine connection. It's based on that connection between truth, honesty, or adventure, or possibilities, or, you know, just trying to make the world a better place. That's why it's good marketing, you know? So bad marketing is just usually lying with the truth, lies, or changing perspectives to become fanatical fans or like zealots, or what's the other word for that? Starts with an A. Oh, well, anyways. But yeah, so that's kind of like marketing 101 in a lot of ways, is like the base feeling for these things. And with the bad marketing, guys, I'm just saying, like, try not to comment, try not to share it, try not to talk about that person's name and bring them up, and to just, I know it's very hard. As many times as I've seen like channels and like Instagram and stuff like that, where there's like Clown World or whatever, where it just shows like the worst of the worst of the worst of humanity. But it creates a bigger divide. It disheartens the world. It's not about truth and transparency. When it comes to like cops beating people, yes, that's okay. That's fine. Let's get that done. But seeing two people fight in a crowd of 50 people in the street, because about respect, it's weird that you're filming that and laughing at it and finding it funny. I saw a video yesterday that I just so happened to catch, and it was of two people pretending like their video game. I don't know. They had just, I don't know the context of it, but they weren't hitting this dude light. Like they were jumping up full body and slamming 2 feet on his head, jumping on his chest and his back, like jumping off a car onto his back, landing on this guy over and over and over and over, waiting for him to look up so they can punch him in the face. Like it was just horrendous. And I'm like, the guy who's filming has to be one of their friends, because if he's an innocent bystander who's just watching this man be slowly beat the shit out of and murdered, I don't get that aspect of it. I understand if it's a cop and he has a gun, he's going to shoot you in the face if he gets that angry. I get that part, especially with that video I saw in Brazil. Oh, those poor people. But it's just that whole aspect of filming the worst parts of humanity because you think it's funny. And I get that it can be funny, but sometimes, dude, it makes me super sad.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel on that?
I don't watch any of it. I get really
it's
upset.
It's hard to not see it when it passes by and you think it's something else. And then you get into it and you're like, oh, this is that.
Yeah.
You've already watched it. This is too late now.
Yeah. I try not to share it or talk about it.
Oh, I don't share it ever.
Yeah.
I don't share anything ever.
Like if it just pisses me off, then maybe. But I try not to.
It's just hard to control that pissed off nature, though, because you're going to end up commenting on a lot of stuff.
Oh, I never comment. Because I
rarely comment.
I don't want all the other people sending me comments and then on my phone blowing up with notifications.
Yeah, that part's
annoying.
I
never comment.
I probably, in the history of my lifetime, probably had that happen maybe 3 times. And a lot of people end up telling me, they're like, oh, I do that like once a day. And I'm like, how do you do that? It's like the worst of the worst coming at you. This is why you're hyper negative and you're an angry person, because you spend your life talking to other angry people. Look, if you take all the people who troll and comment and act like little shits and put them in the same room in front of each other, 80% of that is not going to happen. It just won't.
Oh, no.
Because people are too chicken shit.
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors, it makes it easier for them to be like an asshole. Plus, they feel like they're hidden and protected so they can be an asshole.
When I worked at the call center, got cussed out every day because I was a supervisor. When I worked at the store, I got cussed out once.
And it's usually the hypertensive, violent, aggressive people who were going to do it regardless.
Yeah. Like it just didn't happen because they're like, oh, there's somebody in my face. There's a security guard over there.
Yeah.
There's this guy back there looking at me, staring at me. This guy's grabbing his pen a little too tight. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to say what I was going to say. I'm just going to call in with fuck you guys. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't know, man. Like it's just, it's definitely harder to reserve that feeling of just, it's so easy to slip into rage. It's just easy to do it. It's so difficult to stay out of it. Like I've tried. So there's been 3 times in my life where I've just let loose, and I'm not talking about online, like physically too. And it's been like in a moment, which I justified when I was younger. Like I was protecting someone else. I was protecting someone else's feelings, or I was doing this. But to this day, I still regret it because it's just losing that kind of control. It feels great and you want to do it more. And that's the problem, because if the more and more you do it, the easier and easier it gets. The point of fact is you end up either being dead in jail or a drug addict because you've just let your emotions run rampant. And you have to have a layer of control. You have to be balanced between your logic and your emotion. If you're not, you're going to make incorrect decisions all the time, because if it's based just on your heart, it's going to be just chaos. If it's based on your logic, then you're never going to grow as a human being. You're going to be a mindless robot who doesn't really think of anything else. Hell, might even be like I am in part, which never had a kid, never got married. So mainly because I was all great. No, totally fine. I would be a great dad because
and you would, because I said I think you'd actually be a great dad.
I know I'd be a great dad. I'm got that on the back. No. Mainly because being a great dad involves a lot of confidence, because you're going to mess up, but it's okay because that kid's going to be like, most of it's genetics. Let's be honest. A portion of it is parents, a portion of it is environment, a large portion is choice, but most of it's genetics. Because if you have 2 sociopathic parents who murdered and killed 50 people, guaranteed you're probably going to be a little off. And when you find out they're your parents, you're going to be way off. But yeah, so I mean, So I mean, when it comes to marketing, I don't really like the bad aspects of it, because it feels like just disingenuous and dishonest behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's short term. That's why.
And what I don't like too is that capitalist belief where it's like, get your hustle, get your money, however you want to. And I'm like, nah, you got to have some moral center, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just not going to end well for anybody if you have no moral center. I mean, that's why bad illegal shit happens, or shit that was legal then, but is now illegal because it actually is messed up what you were doing. Like, yeah. So I don't know, man. So with marketing, all I have to say is that just, dig a little bit deeper. understand the genuineness of who you're watching and ignore the people that are obviously trying to just get people rabid over everything they say or post. Because those people are genuinely not good people to have around you. Because if they can do that, then they can do other stuff to you.
Yeah.
Other than that, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell notification to know when new videos are coming out. Which, by the way, comment on this video if maybe you know of something else that maybe BTS or other K-pop groups or musicians or artists or movie stars, because there's so many different ones who have done great things for people, but I'd like to see some happy stories. Don't give me the negative ones. Show me happy stories. Happy stories of people doing genuinely good things. Doesn't particularly have to be anonymous, because it's very hard if you're in a famous point of view to be anonymous in everything you do. But like, just give me some stories of people who have done some really cool stuff and really inventive or creative marketing or creative ideas. I'd like to know. I'd like to know some cool, interesting stories. But yeah, go ahead and check out the links in the description, things like that. And I think we might have the Fourth Wall memberships up. So support the channel if you can. That'd be great. Thanks, guys.
Yo.
Have a kick-ass day.